Mike here from Bikes by Mike with another cycling related video. Today is Bike Maintenance Day, where I'll be talking about a very important tool for you, the home mechanic, the air compressor. Okay, let's get to it. Today's video only has two parts. I'll start off by talking about some of the important considerations you'll want to keep in mind when putting together your own inflation kit. And I'll tell you what parts I purchased. I'll end things off with one single takeaway for all of you. If you remember only one thing from this video, that's what I want you to know. I've owned a shop air compressor for about 8 years and it's done me quite well. And really for anyone that's running a tubeless tire setup, it's one of the best tools you can have in your workshop. Nothing works better than a high volume air compressor at getting a tubeless tire bead to hook onto a rim. So my setup has worked fine for me over the years, but if I'm going to have a large tool lying around my garage, I may as well make it as functional and easy to use as possible. Now, finally, I have a near perfect setup that lets me easily inflate all my bicycle tires and car tires as well. When I was deciding on how to upgrade my air compressor setup, these are the features and specs that went into my buying decision. For use in a home bike shop, you can get away with a light-duty air compressor. You don't want to go too small because you want to be able to blast a ton of air into your tires quickly, and you also don't want the compressor cycling on and off non-stop. So I recommend going with one that has at least a 6-gallon tank and an airflow of no less than 2.6 SCFMs. That's the same size as the one I'm currently using, the Porter Cable 150 PSI 6-gallon pancake air compressor. Next, pay attention to the noise rating of the compressor. Most of them are very loud, mine included. It's rated at 82 decibels and loud enough that I have to wear ear protection when using it. If you want a quieter compressor that doesn't require hearing protection, look for a noise rating somewhere below 65 decibels. That's a level that's generally considered safe for use over longer periods of exposure. Next is a type of chuck. Just like with a floor pump, it's really handy to have an air compressor that can attach to both Presta and Schrader valves without requiring an adapter. My old air compressor hose had just a Schrader fitting, so every time I wanted to inflate a tire with a Presta valve, I had to connect a Presta to Schrader adapter to the valve before I could inflate the tire. Sure, it worked, but it was a bit of a hassle. So I suggest picking up an air chuck that can handle both Presta and Schrader valves. I bought one from Jayco that works pretty well. You choose the valve type by aligning the white dot with either the letter P for Presta or S for Schrader. It's as simple as that. For your actual tire inflator, go with a quality one with a pressure gauge that gives accurate pressure readings that you can rely on. I went with another Jayco product, the FlowPro 2.0, which has an electronic gauge. It does come with a lock-on style air chuck, but it's Schrader only, which is why I replaced it. I loosen the Presta valve and then thread the tire inflator chuck onto the valve. I then inflate my mountain bike tire to my preferred air pressure of, say, 24 psi. The Jayco inflator has a nifty feature where you can slightly squeeze the lever to let out a bit of air. It's a nice way to dial in your exact air pressure if you overshoot it, like I did. Once I have my pressure where I want it, I pull back on the blue sleeve of the chuck to release it. I check the tire pressure reading against one of the more accurate tire pressure gauges I've been using, the SKS Air Checker. In this case, both gauges were reading exactly 23.9 psi. I did this multiple times and the two gauges were consistently giving me readings within 0.5 psi of one another, which shows that these two units are highly reliable and accurate. And since blowguns, air dusters, air blasters, whatever you want to call them, are all the rage right now, I suggest buying a separate blowgun attachment for your air compressor. It can be handy for drying off your bike after a wash, especially those parts of the bike that can easily trap water and moisture, like the rear cassette, pulley wheels, and chain. I got this one off Amazon, which isn't anything special, but it was convenient to buy as all my parts were purchased from Amazon. For the air hose, you'll find a ton of options available. You can't really go wrong with any of them, provided you keep two things in mind. Air hoses come in two internal diameter widths, a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch. Go with the 3/8 inch hose. Even with the same size fittings, you'll get slightly more airflow with a bigger hose, and you'll hardly pay anything more for it. And anything you can do to get more air into your tubeless tires quickly, the easier they'll be to inflate. The second important thing is to choose a hose with the fittings already pre-installed. This will prevent you from having to purchase and install the fittings yourself. Fittings have two parts: a plug, the male end, and a coupler, the female end. Both are needed for a quick release connection between two hoses, or a hose and a tool, like an air compressor. There are several standards of fittings for hoses, but only two you need to be aware of, as they're the only ones commonly found in hardware stores and are used for many applications. And while they are both appropriate for home use, they are not interchangeable, so you need to keep the same standard across all your fittings and tools. The first style is called automotive, sometimes referred to as Type C, T-type, or TrueFlate. They are often, but not always, color-coded blue. They come in three flow sizes: a 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, and a 1/2 inch. Notice I mentioned flow size, as you don't want to mix this up with thread size, which is completely different. Always stick with a 1/4 inch NPT thread. The other common style of fitting is industrial, sometimes referred to as Type D, Milton M style, or IM. They are often color-coded red. They also come in a 1/4 inch, 3/8, and a 1/2 inch flow sizes. And both these styles of fittings are available as plugs and couplers. I suggest you go with the industrial variety in a 1/4 inch flow size, as this is the most common configuration in use for tire inflation setups. And most air compressors for home use will already have an industrial coupler attached to it. I went with the 3/8 inch Flexilla air hose, 25 feet long. It's known for staying very flexible even in really cold conditions. It comes with a 1/4 inch industrial plug at one end that fits into my air compressor. And the other end has a 1/4 inch industrial coupler that I use for a quick connection to either my tire inflator or my blowgun. The only other parts you'll need are a couple industrial 1/4 inch NPT plugs. Those you'll screw into any tool you want to connect to your air compressor hose, such as a tire inflator or a blowgun. I found a whole kit of fittings on Amazon that came with a variety of plugs and couplers, so I just purchased the whole kit, but you don't really need all those extra pieces. I call this video my ultimate air compressor upgrade, but it's not. I mean, it's close. I almost have my dream setup, but I messed up with the most important part, the air compressor. Honestly, unless you've worked with one of these pancake-style units, you'll underestimate how loud they really are. It's not just the sound it makes when the compressor is refilling the tank, which is already too loud to talk over. The loudest part is the pressure release valve. The air pressure within the tank needs to be released every time the compressor is not in use. If you don't, water will condense and build up inside, causing damage. Releasing the pressure sounds like a gas explosion. Again, you have to wear hearing protection or you'll cause yourself serious hearing damage. It's not a big deal as I keep noise protection handy, but it's inconvenient. And I can't run it late at night as it'll wake up the neighbors. Unless you absolutely have no issue with noisy tools, or you hate your neighbors, I suggest paying a bit more and buying one of the ultra-quiet air compressors on the market. You, your family, and friends and neighbors will thank you. So there you have it, my dream air compressor setup, kind of. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And if you have a recommendation for an ultra-quiet compressor that would make my setup even better, I really want to hear from you. That's all I got for today, folks. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're not a subscriber to this channel, please subscribe, as it'll allow me to produce more content for all of you. See you next time. Happy rolling.